A$AP Rocky. Rapper, record producer, fashion designer, and model. Born and raised in Harlem, he is one of the most recognizable members of the hip-hop collective, the A$AP Mob. A$AP Rocky is credited as the artist who propelled cloud rap into the mainstream. Rocky's debut mixtape, Live Love A$AP, is probably one of the most critically acclaimed mixtapes just ever. His career was basically completely secured after Long Live A$AP and At Long Last A$AP. Outside of his studio albums, he has a very decorated feature catalog. That catalog manifests in the form of Tyler, the Creator's albums Flower Boy and Call Me If You Get Lost the Estate Sale, where he features on Who Dat Boy and Warf Talk specifically. In 2022, he was also on Nigo's album I Know Nigo. But turning back the clock, in 2018, he released his album Testing, and we hadn't heard from him album-wise since. But now, January 16th, 2026, we finally got Don't Be Dumb after 8 years of waiting. This album's rollout was very rocky, no pun intended, to say the least. Don't Be Dumb kept receiving delay after delay after delay after delay. We straight up thought the goddamn album would never drop. But then the singles for the album Punk Rocky and Helicopter, released January 5th and January 12th respectively, released onto streaming services, followed by a pre-save. As of me recording this intro bit, the album hasn't actually dropped yet, so I don't know what it sounds like at all. But I have listened to the singles, and between the two singles that have released, I think Punk Rocky is probably my favorite out of the two. I very much appreciate the very psychedelic vibe of Punk Rocky, and I can't wait to see what the album sounds like. Now I'm going to cut to my live reaction of these songs. I'll probably talk about this when I actually do the live listen, but I can't play any of the actual audio, otherwise I am going to get copyrighted. So I will give my opinions on the track, and I will give a more in-depth opinion about the album as a whole, stylistically at the very end, in a post voiceover thing. Let's cut the camera over to Live Listen Jade. Alright, thank you, Intro Jade, for introducing Live Listen Jade. I don't know. But the point is, I'm recording this the day the album dropped, and I'm gonna give y'all my first track impressions of the album. I'm gonna give my commentary at the end of every song. Because I don't want this to get copyrighted, I am not going to play any of the actual album. I'm just going to listen to the songs and then give my opinions on the songs at the end, probably minus the interrogation skit that I'm seeing right here. If you want to follow along, I encourage you to open Spotify or whatever music app you use and listen along, because, like I said, I can't play any of the songs without getting copyrighted. So, without further ado, this is Don't Be Dumb by A$AP Rocky, starting with Order of Protection. Okay, so that was Order of Protection. I really liked that track. I think it was a pretty good opening track. I like the build up to when the drums come in. It's like you're moving to it, like that one Jay-Z gif, and then when the drop comes, it's like yes. It's just a good song. I really like that track. I think it's a pretty good opener. Now we're moving on to Helicopter, the second single of the album. I will give a fair warning, I didn't really like this single as much as I liked Punk Rocky, but I'll still give an honest critique here. Alright, that was Helicopter. While I said that between the two singles that released for this album, Helicopter is my least favorite out of the two, that's not to say that Helicopter is a bad song at all, actually. It's a vibe. I like, despite the production on it being very simple, I like how, like, movable it is. Like, you can really move to it. Aside from the one line about lesbians in there, most of the lines, they hit decently to really well, and A$AP's flow is it's good. It's a good flow. It's a great song. I'm gonna skip over Interrogation and go to Stole Your Flow. Okay, that was Interrogation and Stole Your Flow. So far, that's probably the dirtiest cut on the record in a very, very good way. I feel like I say this every single song, but the beat is, oh my, I love the beat. It feels like, to me, it feels like for most of the song, it has kind of like jerk influence. Like if you've ever listened to, if you're someone who really listens to jerk, I'm not, but from the little bit of jerk that I have heard, it kind of seems like the beat of Stole Your Flow incorporates elements of jerk, and I really like that. And towards the end of the song, it gets super like dramatic and anthemic and orchestral, and it's overall just really great. I think the beat of Stole Your Flow is probably the highlight of the track. The lyricism and delivery from Rocky was great, but it's the beat, bro. It's the beat. I can't get over the beat. Anyways, next song, Stay Here for Life. We're on track 5 out of, we're gonna say 17, because for some reason this is in 2 discs. All right, so that was Stay Here for Life. So with this track, we're taking a break from the gritty, hard trap that we've gotten from every single song up until now. And here is where we get soulful vocals from Brent Faiyaz. I had to look that one up because I'm like, ooh, who's the vocalist? Who's the vocalist when I went on Genius? But that's not beside the point. Here we see that signature cloud rap, like chill wave fusion that Rocky is known for. And he executes this style. He floats so well on these types of beats, and it never misses. When he makes a track like this, it never misses. I was vibing the entire time through every single part of the song. And then in that little ending bit at around the 4-minute mark, where the instrumental gets like slightly heavier, I really like that too. I was confused by the fade out because it's like, wait, we still have like a minute left of this song, and then the interlude plays, which goes perfectly into this next song, Playa. Also, I want to say this is probably the longest. This is the longest cut on the album, so that's cool. Anyways, now we are moving on to Playa. It's another cloud rap banger from A$AP Rocky. Playa is so good. Apparently the intro is Thundercat. I couldn't tell. Hold on, let me actually listen to that again. Never mind, I listened back. That was definitely Thundercat's voice. I don't know how I didn't catch that the first time, but whatever. Point is, another cloud rap banger from Rocky. The flow on this song, it doesn't miss. It's such a vibe from start to finish. Like I was moving in my seat like, ooh, that was probably corny, but I don't care. That's such a vibe, you know. I imagine playing this song in like the car or whatever, and it's late at night and you just taking a really long drive back home or whatever, but you need something to keep you going, so you play that song. That's such a good song. I love that one. This next track is called No Trespass. Alright, so that was No Trespassing. The drums go so crazy. Like, they go crazy. Like, after coming off 2-3 cloud rap bangers, to get that grittiness from the first little part of the track list back was such tonal whiplash that I am all for. Those drums are knocking. I was stank facing the entire time. That was such a vibe. I know my commentary sound kind of empty and like not insightful, but like it's just a good album so far. Like I haven't had like a true miss on this record yet. So anyways, here's Stop Snitching. Okay, so that was Stop Snitching. Compared to the rest of the track list, this one is kind of a miss for me. I mean, it's not saying that it's a bad song by any means. It's just that it didn't really hit as hard. Lyrically, it was fine. The beat was fine. Rocky's delivery was fine as usual. It was just fine. Like, there wasn't really an element that like really stood out to me. I'm not saying it's a bad song or anything, but that one's kind of a miss for me, not even gonna lie. Anyways, next track is STFU. Alright, so that was STFU, and that was probably the most out there cut on the record so far. I really appreciate how it's like kind of like hard style electric almost incorporated with hip hop. Like, it's a very turn it up song. It's very angry. It's very like in your face, and I really like that. I just like how out there the song was. Like, I appreciate a song that's like super experimental and kind of out there, and sonically it stands out from the rest of the record so far. Of course I still have like 7 more tracks left, but I don't think I'm gonna get another cut on this record that sounds like that. It's very unique, and I like it. It's good. I don't know about all the stuff where he was like, I don't know about all the stuff where Rocky was like playing around with his like voice cadence. He like kind of went metal for a minute, and I don't really know how much I mess with that, but otherwise it's a good like out there, angry, in your face experimental cut, and you know, I appreciate that. Next is the first single of the album, which is Punk Rocky, and this is, even after I first listened to it, I kept listening to it because I really liked the sound of it. I'll give more in detail thoughts after I listen to it, but I will say, out of the 2 singles that released, this one is definitely my favorite out of the 2. So yeah, here is Punk Rocky. Yeah, so that was Punk Rocky. Like I said in the intro, I love me a good psychedelic track. Like, this track feels like you're kind of floating, kinda. It's like you're laying down on your bed, staring at the ceiling, and all of a sudden it just feels like you're floating in the air while you're thinking about life or whatever. And it's incredible. I love this track so much. Definitely set my expectations for the rest of the record when I first heard it, when it dropped, and like, it's just a good track. I like me some good, like, psychedelic, I like me a bit of psychedelic reflectance is the best way that I can kind of describe this. Anyways, we're now on track 11 out of 17. This is Air Force Black DeMarco. Okay, so that was Air Force Black DeMarco, and if I had to explain that song in one phrase, it would probably be tonal whiplash, the song. Because for the first bit of the song, you get like the super hard style things that we've seen on the rest, like on the earlier part of the record, very high energy flow, great lyricism from Rocky, and then it switches on a dime to like this ballad slash soul slash like R&B type thing, and that like really snapped me out of whatever. That like really, like, I was like locked into like the hardcore, and then all of a sudden he's getting ballad on us, and he's like, wait, what just happened? Like, it's tonal whiplash, the song. Not to say that I don't fuck with it. Like, the R&B section of the song, I was totally fucking with. Like, that was a good portion of the song. That production was the production on that, like, R&B type section was very airy and floaty. And it's reminiscent, and some of the elements are kind of reminiscent of the style that Punk Rocky was in. And some of the style that the earlier cloud rap stuff was in. And it was overall a good track. I'm pretty sure I almost broke my neck from the tonal whiplash, but Yeah, just a good track. We're on track 12 now. It's called Whiskey Slash Release. Not Whiskey Slash. The Slash song is down here. It's called Whiskey Release Me. Okay. So that was Whiskey Release Me. So that was another really good song. In the beginning, it's Rocky tapping into his inner like soul singer, soul R&B singer right there, and he's floating on this super like dreamy. Hold on, I mean it's not dreamy. It just feels like soul. It feels like he's singing over a soul track, and I really like that. And the part before the beat switch, where he's singing like he's drunk. And considering the title of the song, that's a really nice stylistic choice, and I love that attention to detail. But then afterwards, it switches to cloud rap once again, Rocky's specialty. And whenever Rocky makes that cloud rap, he don't miss. He does not miss. It was a vibe the whole time. Production was good. In terms of whether so the cloud rap to kind of trap style and the production, it definitely leans more towards the trap part of the meter, but there's still very heavy and strong like cloud rap and chill wave like influence there, melodically over the drums and the bass. So yeah, overall it's a very balanced, very well-rounded track, and I like how in the beginning and in the end part it's like the vulnerability while being drunk, and then the entire like cloud rap middle section of it is like the kind of like the anger, and in some people there's a reason why they call alcohol liquid confidence, and that kind of middle part of the song really embodies that. So overall it's a very well structured track with great attention to detail, and probably the one that I was willing to like dissect the most on this record. And considering how there's not really that much of the record left, it has a pretty good contender to be like one of my favorite songs on the record. So anyways, here's Robbery. Not the Juice WRLD song, but here's Robbery. Okay, so that was Robbery, and that track was jazz rap in the literal definition. They are literally just rapping over a jazz song. It works so well. I didn't know Rocky and Doechii could do jazz rap like that. That's crazy. Rocky and Doechii's synergy throughout that entire track, they synergize so well. They play off each other's energy so well. And I like the soundscape of the instrumentation. The instrumentation has a very good soundscape. Everything, to use sort of descriptive terms musically, everything in the instrumental just sounds delicious. From the piano licks to the bass to them quick jazz drums, everything in here is tasty, and also definitely has a spot in like my top 4 on this album so far. Yeah, we don't have much of the album left, so let's finish it out. We only have 4 tracks remaining. This is Don't Be Dumb / Trip Baby. This is the song that I was saying had a slash. We're going Tyler the Creator with this, I guess. Let's go. Alright, so that was Don't Be Dumb / Trip Baby. So I'm going to treat these like separate songs. So first I'm going to go over Don't Be Dumb, and then I'm going to go over Trip Baby. Don't Be Dumb, the title track, is once again a classic trip-hop banger from good old A$AP Rocky. No comments, perfect song. Well, maybe not perfect, but that is like a 9.5 out of 10 song. Good flow, good delivery, great beat. Rocky, when he does cloud rap, does not fail at making you feel like you're floating in a bunch of clouds. And now I'm gonna move on to Trip Baby. Trip Baby, I don't even know how to really describe the production style. feels like chill wave rap, which I know it just feels like another name for cloud rap, but it's not. I feel like how I would describe chill wave rap is like basically just chill wave chords over some trap drums, and little bass, if any. That's how I would describe it. If chill wave rap is like an actual genre, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, and again, and lyrically, Trip Baby gets really heavy towards the end, and I always appreciate a little bit of weight in my lyricism. Makes everything feel so much more like real and grounded. It makes it so that the artist isn't like, oh yeah, I'm doing things you'll never be able to do, and I have so much money that you could never see in your entire life because you broke. It feels like, yeah, behind all the wealth, I'm still who I was before it, as in a struggling human being like the rest of us. The money doesn't change you, even though the money changes you, but your money doesn't change your soul. That got needlessly poetic. But I like poetically waxing about things that I find like spiritually good and like spiritually connected in a way. I don't know how to really describe it. Anyways, here is track 15 called The End. I'm also going to cover the two disc 2 songs separately, but this is the end of Don't Be Dumb.
Don't trip, keep calm, carry on now. Even though the wicked ones but the bomb now. Heard the stick with kids wanna burn the sun down. Got sick pigs in the ghetto bucking us down.
And that was the end of Don't Be Dumb. I wasn't expecting Rocky to go like full conscious rap on us, but I really appreciate that. To me, that's like a reminder that, hey, no matter how much you turn it up to drown out the noise around you, the problems that you're facing and the problems with the world are still there. And one day or another, you are going to have to face them in one way or another. It's just beautiful. It's poetic. I like the line where he references how the food in the public schools tastes or smells like institution. It's referring to the fact that, from my understanding, a lot of public schools in the US get food for school cafeterias from the same company that literally makes the food for prisons. So that was a like very like eye-opening little reference there. Yeah, and that was just the end of the album. That was a great record. First listen perspective, that was a great record, and I could definitely see myself playing this record. Definitely, I could see myself playing it front to back a lot. But now we have to get into the 2 extra songs, which I'm probably not gonna be as in depth with, because it's technically not really a part of the rest of the album, but I'll still let them play anyways, and I'll still give my thoughts. But as far as I'm concerned, the end is, well, the end of Don't Be Dumb. And that was a great record. I'm sure I'll give more in detail observations about that in the outro, but for now, we still have to do SWAT Team and Fish and Steak, what it is. All right, so SWAT Team, it felt like a diss track beat, honestly. That felt kind of like a diss track. I'd have to read into like what the lyrics are referencing to really determine if it is a diss track. But that sounded very like kind of diss track like. Number one, I wonder if it is a diss track. Number one, I wonder who it's targeting, and number two, is it gonna be like a new beef that we gotta follow? I don't know. But it's a good song. Good bonus track. The second bonus track is Fish and Steak, what it is. Yeah, and then that'll be the end of the First Impression live listen. Okay, so that was Fish and Steak, what it is. That was the second bonus track, and the way that I can describe the production is kind of like a more stripped down, minimalistic version of a Wolf beat. I'm gonna check if Tyler has any production credits on this song, but it definitely sounds like a more stripped back Wolf beat. And in extension to that, you can see a modern Tyler flow on a Wolf style beat. And I think that's really cool. That's like a divergence of two worlds there, essentially. Because if you look at his flows from back in the Wolf era, and then you look at, like, I don't know, Sag Harbor, it sounds completely different. It sounds like two different people rapping. I don't know how else to really describe it. All of the Rocky and all of the collaborators carry their weight on this track. The T feature did not miss. Tyler's feature did not miss at all. Rocky had a good verse, and
Jazzy,
thank you, Post Over Me, did great on like the hook / chorus. So overall, that was a great album with some great bonus tracks. This concludes the live listen of Don't Be Dumb. I am going to hand it back over to Outro Jade. Before I continue with the outro, I just want to say that yes, I am sick, so I apologize if my voice sounds more annoying than normal. With that being said, there's not really that much I can say about Don't Be Dumb. I will say that the second half of the track list is definitely stronger than the first half, because the second half really plays into A$AP Rocky's strengths a bit more than the first half does. Where Rocky really thrives as an artist, and that's been proven time and time again, is that he really thrives when he's doing cloud rap. That's not to say that the second half of the track list is flawless either. Songs like STFU, which I will admit I do like an experimental track, doesn't really hit as hard as the rest of the stuff on the second half of the album. And the first half of the track list has great songs, the highlights mainly being Stole Ya Flow, Stay Here for Life, and Playa. The production on the album in general is very consistent. There isn't really any massive dips in quality, but there are some notable spikes of quality on the record, which is especially seen from songs like Punk Rocky, Stole Ya Flow, Stay Here for Life, and Whiskey Release Me. The cut with Doechii was definitely a highlight of the record. In Robbery, they just play with each other's strengths perfectly. And the ending track, fittingly titled The End, is a very, very heavy and insightful song. Overall, was it worth waiting for, I think, 8 years for this record? Yeah, I'd say it was pretty worth it, actually. My favorite tracks on the record, in no particular order, are Stay Here for Life, Punk Rocky, Whiskey Release Me, Robbery, and The End. All of these songs are absolute standouts in the track list. I would also like to add Playa as another one of my favorites. Beautiful song. Just all of these songs are great. Overall, I think I'd give this record like a solid 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. Very, very solid record from Rocky. Hopefully we can see more frequent releases from him, because honestly, man, he's been gone too long. That's the end of the review. I know there's another album releasing this week. You don't have to tell me about it. We'll see if it actually releases. I want to say that I released my debut album, Water, last week. The link to the Bandcamp page will be in the description, and you can also watch it on YouTube. The full album video will be linked to the end card. And thank you for stopping by the cozy bedroom of the internet. Until next time, goodbye.